They laughed at my silence because they thought silence meant weakness. They thought not speaking meant not knowing, not moving meant not growing, and not reacting meant not caring. But what they didn't understand was that my silence was intentional. It was where focus lived, where discipline was sharpened, and where excuses were removed one by one, while they wasted energy proving themselves to the world. I was conserving mine, building systems, habits, and standards that didn't need approval. I learned early that reacting gives people access to your emotions, and access is power. So I stopped reacting, I stopped explaining, and I stopped defending a future that wasn't ready to be seen yet. I worked when it was boring, I stayed consistent when motivation disappeared, and I kept showing up when quitting would have gone unnoticed, because I understood something most people never do. Progress is quiet before it is obvious, and strength is invisible before it is undeniable. I let them laugh, because laughter creates distance, and distance creates freedom. Freedom to grow without pressure, without comparison, and without interference. Every joke, every doubt, and every dismissal only confirmed that I was building in the right place. Unnoticed, I trained my mind to stay calm under disrespect, to stay patient under delay, and to stay disciplined under temptation, because control is the real advantage, and uncontrolled people always reveal their limits. Eventually, I didn't rush results because rushing exposes insecurity, and I didn't announce progress because announcing invites distraction. I stayed focused on execution, letting days stack, weeks compound, and habits turn into identity. And slowly, without warning, the gap between who I was and who I used to be became impossible to ignore. I wasn't louder, I wasn't arrogant. I was different, grounded, composed, and certain. And that certainty unsettled them more than any words ever could. Because certainty doesn't argue, it doesn't explain, and it doesn't seek permission. It simply moves forward and changes outcomes. I realized then that silence isn't the absence of confidence, it's the presence of control. And control always wins. In the long run, they may have laughed when I said nothing, but they stopped laughing when the results arrived, because results don't need a voice, they speak on their own. And when they do, the laughter turns into silence, the kind that follows realization and regret. And if you're in the phase where people misunderstand your quietness, where they mistake restraint for fear and patience for weakness, don't correct them. Let time do that for you. Keep building when no one is watching. Keep honoring your standards when no one is clapping. And remember, the loudest response you'll ever give is a life that proves you never needed to speak at all. And as time passed, the silence stopped, feeling heavy and started feeling powerful. Because I realized I was no longer quiet out of fear. I was quiet out of control over my emotions, my reactions, and my direction. And that control became my edge. While others were distracted by opinions, comparisons, and constant noise, I was locked into routine, waking up with purpose, moving with intention, and ending each day knowing I did what needed to be done, even when it wasn't exciting, even when no one noticed. I learned that consistency is boring to people who crave attention, but deadly to those who understand long-term growth. So I embraced the boredom and used it as proof that I was operating on a different level. I stopped needing to be understood, because being understood too early attracts judgment, and judgment slows progress. I learned to let people misunderstand me because misunderstanding protects momentum, and momentum is fragile in the early stages. I watched how people talk themselves out of effort the moment things get hard, and I used that awareness to push further, not out of anger, but out of discipline. Because discipline doesn't need emotion, It needs commitment. I built standards that didn't change, based on mood or circumstance, and those standards became my anchor. When doubt tried to pull me back into old patterns, I didn't chase confidence. I built evidence showing myself daily that I could be trusted under pressure, and that trust created a calm certainty that didn't shake when results were delayed or when recognition was absent. I learned that silence sharpens awareness. You notice patterns, you notice weaknesses, and you notice opportunities others miss because they're too busy announcing themselves. And as that awareness grew, so did my patience, because patience is not waiting. It's working without panic. And that mindset kept me steady, while others burned out chasing quick validation. I stayed reserved, not because I had nothing to say, but because everything worth saying was being written through action and repetition, and slowly the laughter faded, replaced by curiosity, confusion, and finally respect. Not because I demanded it, but because reality demanded it on my behalf. And that's when I understood that silence isn't something you outgrow, it's something you master. Because mastered silence becomes presence, and presence changes rooms without a single word being spoken. And by the time they finally understood what the silence meant, it was already too late to catch up. Because while they were busy reacting, I was building. While they were busy explaining, I was executing. And while they were busy seeking validation, I was strengthening discipline. And discipline compounds quietly until it becomes undeniable. I no longer needed to correct assumptions, because assumptions don't affect outcomes. Only actions do, and my actions were already aligned with a standard that didn't require permission. I moved with calm precision, choosing when to speak, when to act, and when to stay still. Because restraint is power, and power used selectively lasts longer. I realized that the strongest form of confidence is not loud assurance, but quiet certainty. The kind that comes from knowing you honored your standards when no one was watching, and kept going when quitting would have been easy. I didn't feel pride when the results showed up. I felt peace, because peace is what discipline gives you when there's nothing left to prove. I watched the same people who laughed fall silent, not out of fear, but out of realization, because nothing is more humbling than seeing someone you underestimated outgrow you without ever announcing it. And that silence at the end was louder than anything I could have said, because results don't argue. They don't explain, and they don't seek approval. They simply arrive and change the narrative instantly. And if you're walking this path right now, misunderstood, overlooked, and underestimated, understand this: you are not behind, you are being built. And the work you're doing quietly is shaping outcomes you won't need to announce later. Stay disciplined, stay focused, and let time reveal what silence has been preparing all along. Because in the end, the ones who laughed will be quiet, and the ones who stayed quiet will be heard without ever speaking. And even after everything shifted, I never became louder, because loudness was never the source of the strength. Silence was, and I understood that the moment you abandon the habits that built you, the fall quietly begins. So I stayed rooted in the same discipline that carried me through the unseen phase. I didn't let results change my routine or attention, soften my standards, because success tests character more than struggle ever does. I learned that many people survive hard times but fail easy ones because comfort exposes weak structure. And I refused to let comfort undo years of control. I kept my circle small, my focus sharp, and my days structured, because structure is what keeps momentum alive when urgency disappears. I didn't chase praise or fear criticism, because both pull you away from execution, and execution is where everything is decided. I stayed intentional, choosing restraint over reaction, patience over impulse, and consistency over intensity, because intensity fades, but consistency rewrites outcomes. I watched others lose direction once attention arrived because they built for recognition instead of foundation. And that confirmed everything. I believed the work must always come before the noise, and the system must always come before the spotlight. I treated every day as a responsibility, not an opportunity, because responsibility builds reliability, and reliability builds power that lasts. I learned that silence is not about hiding, it's about timing, knowing when to speak, when to move, and when to let results handle the conversation for you. And that awareness kept me grounded as pressure increased and expectations followed. I didn't rush new goals or abandon old standards. I refined what already worked, because mastery is found in depth, not constant change, and that depth allowed stability. Even as circumstances shifted, this wasn't about proving anyone wrong anymore. It was about honoring the discipline that shaped everything I had become and protecting it from erosion. Because the strongest people aren't the ones who rise fast. They're the ones who can stay consistent when no one is pushing them anymore. And if you're listening to this still building, still quiet, still overlooked, remember this: the silence that once made people laugh is the same silence that built something they can't ignore. And as long as you stay disciplined, focused, and patient, you won't need to explain your journey, because the results will continue doing that for you long after the noise fades. And now when I look back, I understand that the silence was never a phase. It was a filter. It removed distractions, revealed priorities, and forced me to confront myself without escape. Because when there is no audience, there is no performance, only truth, and that truth shaped everything. I learned to sit alone with my thoughts, without numbing them with noise or approval. And in that stillness, I built clarity about what mattered, what didn't, and who I needed to become to move forward without regret. I stopped wasting energy on people who only show up to watch outcomes and never to witness effort. Because effort is invisible to those who don't respect discipline. I accepted that not everyone needs to understand your journey, and most never will, because understanding requires experience, and experience requires sacrifice. And sacrifice is something few are willing to pay. So I stopped waiting for recognition and focused on refinement, sharpening habits, strengthening systems, and raising standards quietly day after day, until discipline stopped feeling like effort and started feeling like identity. I no longer feared being overlooked, because being overlooked gave me space to grow without interference. And by the time attention arrived, I was already prepared to handle it without losing myself. I learned that real confidence isn't loud, it's settled. It doesn't rush to speak, it waits, knowing that time will eventually reveal what consistency has been building all along. And that patience became my advantage, while others chased quick wins. I chose durability, while others chased applause. I chose alignment, and that choice compounded silently until it showed up as stability, control, and presence. The kind that doesn't demand respect, but receives it naturally. This journey was never about proving anyone wrong. It was about proving myself right. Honoring the discipline I committed to when quitting would have been easier, and staying consistent when motivation faded. And if you're still in that quiet phase, still underestimated, still building, without witnesses, understand this: the silence you're in right now is not empty. It's full of preparation. Every disciplined day is shaping an outcome you won't need to explain later. So stay focused, stay patient, and stay committed to the work. Because one day, the laughter will be gone, the noise will fade, and all that will remain is the undeniable proof of what silence and discipline can build. And if this message speaks to you, subscribe now to Silent Alpha and stay connected, because the next message will arrive exactly when you need it most.